Well, engineers, sorry again for the delays that happened. We're just waiting for our members to join on, but apparently, probably we're all busy. We'll wait for, they'll all join during the course of the program, God willing. Without delaying much of our time, I'd like to call on Engineer Fatai. Would I like you to please give us the opening prayer? A very brief one, please. Thank you very much. Either of those, please. Okay, in his place, can engineer, don't fire me. Please give us an opening prayer, please. A very brief one in 1 minute, if you don't mind. I guess please, am I audible, please? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, that's awesome. Please, can you give us an opening prayer, please, in 1 minute, if you don't mind?
Okay, we thank the Almighty God for making it easy for us to commence this technical session today. We pray unto the Almighty God to make it a very fruitful one. We hope that this technical session will be a springboard towards our career progression by God's grace. So I want us to start this opening prayer with all rapt attention. This session with all rapt attention, and we pray unto the Almighty God to be with us from beginning till the very end. Thank you. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Amen. Thank you very much for that, sir. Moving on quickly, we have our chairman's welcome address to be given to us by Engineer Abiola Koshegbe, FNSC, FNIEE, who is the chairman of NIE Lagos chapter. But in our stead, I would like to call on the vice chairman to please give us an welcome address, please.
Okay. A very good evening to everyone. And I know we are still anxiously waiting for a lot more of our members, but good enough to have a whole lot of important personalities right on the platform. We have the presence of the national chairman, engineer Sheson Odukoya, FNIE, MNSC, as well as so many prominent members right on the platform. So I want to, on behalf of the chapter chairman, engineer Mrs. Abiola Koshegbe, I want to FNSC, FNIE. She's unavoidably absent. She's currently on an official trip and won't be able to join us until the next edition. So I want to warmly welcome you all to this technical session for the month of April 2022. This session is the second technical session for the year, the NIE Lagos State chapter. And today we have BOLANLE ADERANTI, a business development executive with OLABOD Project Consult, which is an authorized training partner for Project Management Institute, United States of America. She is going to be taking us through the topic, Executive Project Management for Environmental Engineers. Today, the entire NIE Lagos chapter is happy to have an outstanding trainer that trains international personalities across the globe. This we hope will be, of course, a start of a long-term collaboration in order to build capacity in the project management space. BOLANLE ADERANTI of OLABOD Project Consult is an authorized training partner of Project Management Institute USA, which is one of the largest professional associations in the world with over 1.5 million gross certifications globally. And PMI has members in 280 countries over the world. And PMI has equally 300 registered chartered chapters with more than 301,000 chapter associated membership. PMI has global standards and credentials of up to 23 standards and practice guides for project management created by working professionals. That means for us as environmental engineers, I mean, we can begin to create a niche in this particular environment and create codes and standards for projects management in the environmental engineering space. PMI has certifications recognized and valued worldwide training, accreditations and certifications, research, publications, and digital content. So all these are opportunities NIE would like to bring to us through this authorized training partner in order to make our environmental projects sustainable. So I enjoin you all to sit back and relax as you learn on how to apply project management knowledge areas to environmental projects from our esteemed speaker. And I would like to give a personal testimony that I was actually certified as a project manager through a training by OLABOD Project Consults. I mean, just within a very short period, I became recognized by Credly. And that's what we believe that all environmental engineers should pursue so that you can be the best in what you do. Thank you very much. Let's max up and keep safe. And NIE is always working towards a sustainable environment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. ADERANTI, BOLANLE, can you please comment your lecture, please? Thank you very much.
Okay.
Hello, please, can you hear me? Good evening, everybody in the house. Engineer Majolagbe, the national chairman, Engineer Odukoya, due respect to you.
Sorry, 1 minute, ma. We have a short profile that we need to push over before that.
Apart to that, Engineer Moife, can you please help me with this transition, please, Engineer Moife?
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
1 second, please. Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening. Once again, I want to welcome everybody to today's technical session. And it's such a great honor and privilege to be called upon to read the profile of our esteemed guest today. Mrs. Bolanle is a management consultant and business development executive with strong skill in quality assurance, corporate procurement, and marketing. She helps in promoting achievement and performance improvements. She is a motivational speaker and a life builder. She has brilliant cognate experience in project management, good communication, coordination, monitoring and control of projects. She coordinates trainings for corporate, individual, government parastatals, and youth. She is a member of Millennium Development Goals, promoting Nigeria for skill acquisition and professional personal development. So please join me in welcoming Mrs. Bolanle for today's technical session.
Yeah, good evening, House. Thank you, Madam Engineer. I need to say a very big thank you to you, like I was trying to say earlier. Thank you to Engineer Dukoya, Engineer Fumilayo, Engineer Lawa, Engineer Ibrahim, Engineer Fadikber, Engineer Michael Moko. Due respect to the Quran in the house, to be an engineer, I must tell you that it's not a baby walk and it's not an easy thing. So that's why I need to pay homage to you, and I need to say a very big thank you for the opportunity given unto OLABOD Project Consult Limited to be here this hour to share one or two things about why this is so important for everybody to have. Having the understanding that this is not a Nigerian certification, and apart from that, is a must do for everybody because it's a core value. Engineer Majalabe, can you please help share the slide? It's a must do for everybody. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can.
Okay, it's a must do for everybody, and that is why I'm celebrating us now, that because KEDA is about to be added to our shoulder, making the Lagos State, making the Nigeria as a whole to understand that we are better than yesterday, and having the understanding that let our advanced worrying become advanced thinking and planning. Before we start this meeting today, we were looking at it that some of our members are not there, which is a worry. Thinking how the whole thing, but Engineer Omoefe was able to calm his nerves to look at it at the meetup, and we'll be able to get at least one or two people that hears this, will be able to pass one or two information across. Now, let's start let me introduce by saying, Operation Keep the Light On. Let's get that straight. Hello?
Hi, Ma.
Okay, Operation Keep the Light On strategies is a provides a light at the end of the tunnels. Looking at the two keywords here, we have operation, we have a strategy. That's a different things to know the work, and there's a different thing for you to know what to do the work. And here this afternoon, we are here to know what to do the work that we already know. And that is why these people are here OLABOD Project Consult are here to give us a executive member, the executive aspect of project management professional, which is a core value to every profession. And we are registered education provider and a global authorized training partner by Project Management Institute authorized training partner. Here on my screen, you can see the global link for you to do for you to check the verification of the organization and for you to know the authenticity of these people should they have opportunity to train you. Should they have opportunity to train you, you'll be able to know what you stand to gain. And having the understanding that PMI is a mark of excellence in any location, in any industry, because it is globally acceptable and globally acknowledged. Looking at it as a project management certification is an acclaimed industry recognized certification and award most sought after skill across the globe. This course provide consultant, just like you, an operator, a regulator, a manager with professional skills to contribute to provision of environmentally sound, economically sustainable system in the field of clean water supplies, wastewater treatment, management of solid waste, including water from oil industry. Looking at it, that's a case study of Lagos State that we have flooding here and there. How do we manage this? How do we go about this? What do we do to actualize the goals of environmental engineers for them to be able to actualize or standardize, or for them to be able to solve the problem of flooding in Lagos State, for them to be able to turn waste to wealth, for them to be able to see the reason why, for them to be able to look at it that they can actually bring our country from underdeveloped to the way the developed country are doing it. And that is why we need to look at the environmental engineers and project management. This is aimed at making engineers capable of piloting complex projects in an international context. It provides a solid background and a technical knowledge of process. A solid background. What is project management on its own? Is the applications of tools, skills, and knowledge which is being used to handle program, to handle project, to handle portfolio, to handle so many things that might be the things we have on our table for us to see how we're going to accomplish that. It is a cross-disciplinary management skill essential for setting up and piloting projects with an international dimension. There are regular ways we handle waste, there are regular ways we do things, but having the knowledge of PMP will give us wealth of knowledge in a different ways for us to be able to handle projects. Like in project management, there is something they call decomposition. Now we want to look at some areas in Lagos State, some areas in Kaduna, even some areas in the northern part that are being flooded. There are so many ways, and we want to see how do we handle this thing. With the help of the project management tools and techniques, I can give you guarantee that when you have this knowledge, you'll be able to know how to use the Gantt chart to do the project from start to finish. Because Gantt chart is a tools that will actually make you to be able, even before the initiation of the project you want to embark upon, you already see who is starting, who is finishing the job, who is leading, what is leading, what is lagging, how do you do it, how do you structure it, is there risk behind embarking on this project, is it really worth embarking upon? And that is what project management called the business case, which business case is a document that justifies the beginning, the continuation, and the end closure of that particular project. That what the Gantt chart, like I'm trying to say, when we are bringing project management to environmental project manager, let's get one thing straight. As an environmental engineer, we are all project manager, because above all the projects we are looking at it, we say we have environmental project management. Because we are environmental engineer, we need to understand that when we are looking at waste management, we are going to procure. Definitely, we have to look at what are the risks behind it. Definitely, we have to look at it that who are the stakeholder, both in-house stakeholder, external stakeholder, and internal stakeholder as people that we need to fathom into what we are doing. And at the same time, we have to fathom the people that we're to get this, the government, the state government we're working with. How do we do it such a way that they will understand that as an environmental engineer, we have the wealth of knowledge to be able to carry out, to be able to eradicate or reduce the flood in Kano State, Lagos State, Ibadan, or whichever state we may be. Now, project management and solid waste management, there are three composition of solid waste management, development of investment in solid waste disposal system. It involves construction of solid waste management infrastructure. Looking at this diagram here, we can see that there are so many ways whereby as an environmental engineer, there are services we can render to our state government to solve the problem that they are embarking upon in different ways. For example, in that diagram, we have incineration of high temperature, which is part of the strategies which we use in solving the problem of the solid waste problem. We have composition of waste, we have a special waste, we have transfer waste, and we have landfill waste. All these things, we are not just going to do it like a normal way we do it, but we're going to use project management tools and techniques in applying this principle. And we're going to deploy experts that have been trained in such a way that they'll be able to know the work breakdown structure. The work breakdown structure is a thing that will be able to know, that will be able to make you to know what to do the job. That will be able to make you to know who to deploy. That will be able to make you to know the approach to use, when to integrate, when to forecast, and when to do the lead or the lag of the project we are doing upon, or even to do it or not to do it at all. With the approach of this particular PMP, we'll be able to get the understanding of what we are talking about. Looking at the project managers are instrumental in achieving strategic goals because they all part to execution. Project management now, looking at this thing now, I said all the work of engineering, environmental engineering is very technical. The work of environmental engineer is very strategic. The work of environmental engineer is very risky. So it demands a technical skill. It demands a special attention with people that has a wealth of knowledge to be able to accomplish this. And look at this program, the diagram before us now. You say that project management is the center, is a core value. It is like the heartbeat of human being. You know, when the heartbeat of human being fails, definitely that's when we talk about stroke, That's when we talk about the hand is not moving. We talk about, okay, I have headache today. It's like every other part of the body is like every segment, waste management. We'll talk about oil spillage. When we talk about air pollution, when we talk about, those are the segments of the body. When the environmental engineers with the project management words of knowledge are at the center, they will be able to use the triple constraint according to project management, which is the cost, which is the scope, and the schedule, to strategically put down or structure what they want to embark upon and solve the problem in front or forecast what could come in. You know, risk is an inevitable thing. It is an inevitable thing that can either be a threat or an opportunity. And you might not know what the risk might be. But most time, risk for project management, for project manager, are always opportunity because they forecast, they use the appropriate tools. That is why an environmental engineer can be in Lagos and be controlling the flood in Kano State while in Lagos State. How is that possible? That is possible through some tools and application that will be deployed, or the application that is already known to them, which will trigger it's going to trigger the operation over there in a strategic manner, in a strategic way. So now the environmental project management, it's a thing. Looking at it, you see that we have a circle. Like now, every government, can we see the screen? Can we see the environmental management screen that we have on the tool? Hello, can somebody hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can, ma'am.
Can you expand it for everybody to see so that we'll see vividly what we are talking, and if we are good, that's not a problem. Can I go ahead, please?
Yes, you can, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir. Now, looking at what we have here, you can see that environmental project management, it's a key thing. In short, we secure life. In short, our work is very vital and very important to most of the organization that we have. Because knowingly or unknowingly to them, when those things are under control, every other things fall into place for them. But if we are not able to control all those things, they will be affected by so many things. Look at it, environmental system under it, we have environmental management, we have environmental compliance. Under environmental project management, or project planning and control, we have the pinboard guide. And under pinboard guide, that is where you're going to learn so many things on communication. Even as we are talking, we are communicating. But is my communication, are you encoding? Are you decoding? Am I getting it straight to you? How do we do this thing? How do we make the populace understand the language that the environmental engineers are speaking to them? You know, in this, we have cost management, we have quality assurance. How do we give quality to the people that we are trying to eradicate this problem that is arising within them? You know, we have control system and all this thing are embedded in project management. Like as I said, environmental management tools, we have environmental impact assessment, strategic environmental assessment, sustainability assessment, multi-criteria assessment, environmental risk assessment. I said something. Risk is an inevitable thing. That is why so many people do not get what they are supposed to get, because they run away from risk. And as a project manager, you are a problem solver. As an engineering project manager, you are a problem solver. You are a lifesaver. Because health is wealth. When health is lost, every other thing is lost. And that is why our work is very key in the facet of life. And that is why it is so important for us to know how to tackle this thing in a way that the international organization or the international people are getting it done. Now, there are principles of environmental, there are principles of project management. Look at it, we have project management life cycle. In project management, there's something they call life cycle, there's something they call program. You know, in program, you have projects. You know, we have start to finish, finish to start. When a program does not finish, you can't start another one. And you have set of projects. Now we are looking at controlling waste. We're looking at controlling flood. We're looking at, okay, this environment is too flooded with, it's too congested with a lot of waste, thereby causing so many things because of the oil spillage, because of the industrial waste. How do we take it face by face? How do we, who are the people to deploy? What sort of engineering are we putting? Those are the things we're going to get. That's why we said we have the lifespan of it. Then all those things are going to be sketched in what we call the Gantt chart. In that thing, start to finish project you want to embark upon, you will see it there, how it's going to be. Environmental projects management triangle. You know, the other time in our modules, you're going to see how that thing is being, how you can start it, how you can continue it, how you can finish it, the tools you have to use, the input tools and techniques that you have to deploy to carry out this action and for you to be able to actualize your goals. You remember I said in the top, no, the screen is even still before, I said there are triple constraints, which is very key in handling any project. And that is the cost, scope, and schedule. It is so important and so key when we want to do things. You understand? We said it the other time that those three things are so important in project management. And we said that where the road project management, we are, you know, it should assuming that place is a center of environmental engineer. That is where each engineers are sitting. No, engineers are sitting at the center, and around it, the strategic content is the country which we represent. You know, we have environmental value there. We have economically sound there. You know, all those things, this center, those are the things we need to put in. As cost is very delicate. Then what are the principles? What are the formulas? What are the tools that, those are the things that the light will be shed to us for us to be able to know how to undo that thing. Look at it, like I said, we have project management tools when you go to down part, but we have brainstorming. Why did you come to the office late? Why? Tell me why you have not been able to do the flooding in Ikeja. A case study. Let me say a case study. The people I deployed there, why did you deploy the ants that are not capable? Yes, we put them in the training, and why don't you monitor them if they actually get the training? Yes, we monitor them. Why didn't you, there are so many why that will make you to get to the bottom of that particular thing that you are looking at. You understand? Then we have in part of the tools, we have affirming diagrams, we have stakeholder metrics. Very, very important. Imagine yourself that the federal government look at it that federal government now, they don't want to use landfill site because, landfill site, whatever, is an old way. Now we don't want to deploy that again because it's making our environment so messy. You understand? And we want to use transfer waste such a way that it can be in large form, it can be in low form, such a way they will create a space that they will do the composition of the waste. There are ways they've deployed some technician, they've deployed, like for example, let me make a case study of let me say I'm proud that we have PMP in the house, and that's in person of Engineer Madulabi. I can boldly tell you that if engineers in the Lagos State, Kaduna State, wherever, ask a thing to do outside the country, and you have people, in-house people to present as a Korean certified PMP person in this body NIEB that represents us, I tell you, when he speaks, they know somebody speaks because the language, in Korean, we have language. You cannot compare a layman person on the field to an engineer on the field, an environmental engineer, let alone a Korean certified engineer, a PMP that have been trained and retrained and have passed through so many schooling, then definitely you should know that what you are getting is the best. You understand? Let's move to the next one. You see, project management framework with environmental impact knowledge area. I was saying the other time that we have a PMBOK, which we are going to be taught different knowledge area that encompasses all the field, regardless of, it doesn't even limit us to it. That's the beauty of it, is that this thing, it does not even limit us to environmental alone. It's a life-changing thing. It actually makes us it's widening our scope, automatically makes us to be able to find ourselves in any establishment to do whatever thing. Looking at in a project management framework with environmental impact, you see, project management, we have 5 processes in project management. it together. Let's look at this thing together. Now, we want to do solid waste management. You bear me witness that even before you start, you must initiate. And when you are initiating, a lot of things is embedded in being in initiating that project. A lot of things. And if we get it wrong while initiating every other plan, looking at the plan, those are the things you must do when you're planning. All those asterisks you're saying must be put into place when you are planning. After you have initiated, when you're planning, you must look into the scope, which are the things you're going to be taught. You must look into the time. Now, time, they call it schedule in project management. You must look into the cost. You must look into the quality. You must look into the human resource of it. You must look into the communication aspect of it. You must look into the risk management of it. You must look into the procurement. What are the things? What are the gadgets? Are we importing? Are we making it from us from Nigeria? What are the things we need to, so those things are those processes, those 5 processes are very key when we want to execute as a project, as an engineer, as an environmental engineer. We must put into cognizance initiation, planning, execution, controlling, and closing. And when we have all those things in line, we must look at, okay, how do I do it? There are formulas. And that is why that you say that in execution, the key things that are very important is in execution is integration, quality, human resource, communication, and procurement. But if you don't have that wealth of knowledge, you will just look at it that all the knowledge area must be put in place, which is not. And looking at it again, you can say that controlling in each stage. Let me give a case study of this meeting that we are into. Immediately we log on, engineer Omo Efe was doing a controlling. Sorry, we'll still start, wait for people for 5 minutes, just to calm their nerves. Checking and balancing. Am I in alignment? Okay, is what we are doing, is that how it's supposed to be? Checking and balancing. And yet, we still need to start doing some background checking, calling some other engineers that, Engineer Lagbaja, we have not seen you. Engineer Kinikon, we have not seen you. So that they can partake in, so that that project can be fully completed, because that is the vision. The vision is for all the people in this chapter to get these insights. Because, knowledge is money. When you don't get the knowledge, you are deformed. No matter how many titles we have, when we keep it in our home and we are not upgrading ourselves, we don't get what is not. That is why I was saying the other time that operation keeps the light on. Strategy provides a light at the end of the tunnel, but project management is a train that moves the organization forward. It is the train, it is the gen, it is the core value, it is the act beat, it is the instrument, it is the key thing that makes it going. Without beating about, which is when, as an environmental engineer, four things are very important, even as we know all this knowledge area. And what are the 4 things? Scope is very important. What is the scope? What do we really want? What are the things we want to cover in this year? I believe in this year, as a society, we already have a scope we want to cover. Yes, fine. Then costs. What is going to take us? Who and who is going to do? What are the things we're going to do? Risk. What are the things we need to do such that when this is coming, this is what we're going to do? And because we have seen this as a project management, then procure. What are the things we need to put with? So those 4 things are very important. Whenever we want to embark upon any project, whenever we want to see to the end of a particular pollution, whatever we want to see to a particular end of a waste management, whenever we want to see to the particular end of a flooding. So those 4 things are very important, so that whenever we are presenting it to our superior, then we'll be able to know that we are already aligned and we have already seen the end of what we want to do, not just that we want to put money into what there won't be end results. Now, looking at the project management overview, you see that project management is the application of knowledge, which I said the other time, skills, which I said the other time. Which knowledge are you getting? I just said that we have 10 good knowledge area, which encompasses all the feet, which you saw above there. Those knowledge area are going to be, dished out to us with skills. How do you apply this thing? How do you know when you get to this junction what to do? Then when you know what to do, which tools are you going to use? Which techniques are you going to use to carry out this particular project so that you will be able to meet the project's requirements? so that they will really know that we are really a professional in what we are doing and we know what to do. Now you can see this is interwoven. Now I said it entails managing problem from initiation process to the planning, execution, monitoring, and control, which we have said earlier before we get to the closing of the project. So we can see that it's a now. I said something the other time from the first diagram. I said four things are very key as a project engineer, which you must know. That is scope management, cost management, risk management, and procurement management. Those four things are very vital. And don't forget, when we were talking the other time, I said there are triple constraints. I said we should consider ourselves where they put project management as if they are writing environmental engineer at that center. And at that center, we have triple constraints, which they call cost, time, cost, schedule, and scope. You understand? So now, scope, let's look at the scope. Scope is the key project management process here as scope and creates work breakdown structure. Creates work breakdown structure. That is WBS. Engineer Nokoya said, Majalabe, come here, look at what is happening here. We need to do this thing. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. But sir, we have to start. We have to decompose this thing. We have to look at it. Okay, sir. We're going to, when we start with we will procure this one. We procure this, and these are the costs, and these are the this. It was Majolagbe was able to decompose it. When engineer Majolagbe decomposed it, definitely engineer Odukoya's mind will be at rest. No, I have somebody on field. You know, when you have somebody on field that could do something, you yourself, you relax your nerve, baby, because they have the skill, they have the knowledge, they know what to do the job. It's a different thing for you to know the job, yes, as an engineer. It's another thing for you to know what to do that particular job so that you can get to the end means of what you want to achieve. I know I have the knowledge, but I don't have the skill. So of what use is the knowledge that I have when the skill is not there? When I have the skill, of what use is that when the tool to be used is not available? When I have the tools, of what use is it when I don't have the accurate or the appropriate techniques? That is why in project management, there is a segment there that will tell you the input, the tools, and the techniques to use when you are initiating, when you are planning, when you are executing, when you are monitoring, when you are controlling, even before you close the project. So those things are very, very important. Like we're trying to explain the scope management. They say, what are the impact of this project? What is the impact? We can answer it within ourselves. Now, if we're as an environmental engineer, we're able to turn waste to wealth. What is the impact on the Lagos state governments? Will the Lagos state government have more revenue? With a smile, we then look at it, no, those people now we can do this to them, we can, even the seats, what are the timeline of this impact? I said it. When you have, I said at some time that when you know what to do, you must be able to do the work breakdown structure of it, that is the composition of it. That is why, what are the impacts of the project we want to embark upon? What are the timelines of the impact? What are the timeline of this impact of the project we are doing? Do we need additional work stream accounting for this impact? What are the tools? Who are the people we need to deploy? Which stakeholder do we need to caution? What do we need to tell the internal stakeholder about the external stakeholder so that we'll be able to accomplish that goals? What now? We are going to the core part of Lagos State and we have so many talks there. And those one, because there is flood there, that is when they can get their money. But they don't want the work of the environmental engineer to be fulfilled. How do we make sure that that thing is being accomplished? And by putting those external stakeholders, all those talk into consideration when we are planning how to eradicate the flood. How do we do it that even at this particular time, we want to go to this place and we know that there are some people there that doesn't want that thing to be accomplished? How do we fathom it in? Those are the things that we open at the inputs that we use, the tools that we use, the techniques that is needed for us to be able to acquire this thing will be unlocked. Are there additional scoping elements to include that we account for environmental viewpoint? We can see that scope is very, very key and very important. And we can see that all these things are very, very interwoven. Like I said, initiate, plan, execute, monitor, control, closing. Now let's look at costs, which is the second one, which is very vital as an environmental engineer. Cost management is a process involved in planning, in estimating, in budgeting and controlling costs, so the project can be completed within the approved budget. So many people are scared to put in money to a particular project because they don't know the end means of it, because they do it in a regular way, because they are not using the tools of some tools, application, a case study of Kanban. We have Kanban in project management. We have Gantt charts and project management, some tools that we have Scrum. Now project management has added Agile, projects are now being handled in different ways, such that when you find yourself in a technological area, you can use Agile, you can use hybrid based on the people that you meet there. That will make it so easy for you to be able to accomplish that thing. So now, as an environmental engineer, like I said an environmental engineer, we are project manager, needs to account for costs associated with environmental concern. These costs are to be appropriately included into project management process of costing estimating and cost budgeting. For example, environmental costs could include estimating regulatory and legislative costs. What is the cost of compliance? What is the cost of over-compliance? What time or horizon do we use? When do we go there? What do we do? Who do we deploy? How many gadgets do we procure? Who do we communicate to? Who are the people that we know if we don't communicate to them, this project will not go on? What discount rate do we use to calculate future benefits and costs? Estimating design and production costs. What are the cost advantage and disadvantage of this design, this green design? What are the perceived and remarketing implication? Consumer perception. I was saying the other time, stakeholders are very important in any implementation, in any project, even in our daily life. Even as we go out on daily basis, because life is a project. Even as I go on daily basis, I have to look in that way. I have to look into it that as I'm going, what is, for example, if I go on Google, is there hold up on Tomiland? I need to get to VI to do something. How do I calculate it? Do I need to leave my home on time? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? All those things need to put into consideration. The budget work package is holistically account for environmental activities and establish the budget baseline appropriately. So cost is very key. Scope is very key. Now risk. What is risk? Risk is the process concerned with risk management planning. Identifying what is the problem, where is the problem, who are the causes of the problem, how do we undo them, what do we do, what do we buy, how do we communicate with them, which language do they understand? Okay, now, how much do we budget for it? How do we analyze it? What is the response we are waiting for from our bosses, from the state government, whichever state we have? How do we monitor this in such that what we embark upon, the risk ahead will not cut into what we are doing? And if there is risk ahead, how do we cut the risk? Having the understanding that project manager are problem solver. Having the understanding that we have the tools to look, like I said, initiation, if you get it wrong in initiation, every other aspect you are getting it wrong. That is why when you are doing a project at that initiation, you already know that if you have to embark on that project or not, if it is worthwhile or not, or if you have to leave it. It will show you the red light that no, Engineer Bola or Engineer Shukwa, there is risk there. Restructure what you want to do. Input another tools, techniques before you start the scope. So monitoring and controlling a project to increase the probability and impact of positive event and decrease the probability and impact of events adverse to the project. When we foresee ahead through the tools, we'll be able to guide against the shortfall. we'll be able to see the business case, which is the document that justifies the beginning, the continuation, and the end closure of that particular project. Risk management is a huge concern for project manager due to potential negative impact on the pro environment planning. Therefore, our project management processes in risk management, like planning, identification, quantity analysis, quality analysis, response planning, all those things are going to be, those are the things we're going to learn in input tools and techniques that I said the other time. You know, in all those knowledge area, they will give you the tools that you need. They will give you the knowledge that they will give you the application. The knowledge will be given, the tools will be given, the skill will be given, such that you'll be able to accomplish that particular thing. And in risk, you know, they are going to tell you how you're going to plan for it, how you're going to identify that risk, the quantity you're going to analysis you're going to use, the quality analysis you're going to use, the response planning. The response planning, which the stakeholders too are very key. The monitoring and the controlling are appropriate. For example, environmental consideration in risk management may include regulatory, legislative risk, could be government agents, government change the rules in the future. We have a change in our government, you know, every other thing changes. APC is there today, PDP is coming tomorrow, ASPP is coming next tomorrow, and we are the ones to carry out this issue. What are the risks? How do we go about this risk? How do we make sure that when PDP come into government, what are the things to put together for them to understand that we are still valid? What are the things for them we need to put, or what are the projects we have been doing because we already have the knowledge that they will see as an evidence for them to know that we are good to work with, so that their policy is going to favor us, so that they will know that we have the standard, we have what it takes to be able to carry out that particular project. The project risk is the timeless appropriate given the environmental aspect of the project. Are we allowing too little or too much time to assess the impacts? Post-project risk, we need to consider that. Those are the things our eyes will be open to. That's why in the class, majorly, we usually use a practical scenario, a business analysis system approaches, such that we look at what is the problem of this, how do we handle it, what is the risk behind it, what to do when you are doing this, what have you been embarking upon, or what do you want to do? Our eyes will be open to all these things. Consumer risk. Do we understand the environmental impact of our project? Does it initially improve our standard in the community? We shouldn't just allow any human resource to look at it that, no, who are you guys? You guys are just engineering. You guys are just environmental engineer. They must know we are the best. Every segment must know that we are, just the way they look at it, that safety environment is key because of the, safety and what's up. Yes, I can say boldly that environmental engineers are life changers too, because when health is put together, like I said the other time, every other thing will be put in place. And that is why when we have what it takes to do this thing, then we are up the game. Now I said, at least the last one we are talking about, which is the procurement management. The procurement management is the process of purchasing or acquiring product, service, results needed from outside the project team to perform the work. The project management process must impacted by environmental aspects are the plan, purchase, acquisition, request, seller response, and sellers and select sellers. Project manager need to look beyond normal. This is the normal way we do it. The last year when we did this thing, when we put all this one together, there must be a learn from experience. There's something they call learn from experience in project management. You need to go back to your drawing board to check, to re-input the new phase of the project you want to do, what you learn from it. We wasn't looking at it as a normal thing, just a usual way we do it. We should look beyond normal procurement process to see if there are environmental considerations, if there are changes. There are different weather forecasts. There are so many things that could have emanated, which you need to put into consideration. This aspect could be in form of input or output to be processed, and work stream to account for this thought is appropriate. For example, a green consumption could include raw material. Where are the material source? How are they procured? What is the waste from using this material? What happened to the materials when products are completed its life cycle? Supply selection. What is the environment profile of the supplier? What are the priority and trade-off? Just business with them subject to environmental risk. You can see that all those things enlisted are very important for us to procure rights and for us to procure what is needed, what will meet that, what will meet the scope of what we want to do, what will meet the target of what exactly what we want to embark upon. So now, before I go to other things, I want to say that it's a must do and a must have for every project engineer, because it's actually out to Arcada. Having even ourselves, immediately we have it, we'll see that we are being transformed. Looking at this, that it's a globally recognized, and PMP is a globally recognized and demanding. It cuts across most of, there is nowhere, look at there's a link that as a PMP, now, Majalagbe is not just a Majalagbe as a Korean. Majalagbe, if you go to Google Majalagbe, Yusuf, you will see him as a registered person grabbing what he wants. America, Canada, Kenya, anywhere he needs the opportunity, he gets it because he has what it takes. Coupled with the fact that he is a Korean certified. Sir, I tell you, if I, as a Korean certified, for example, and you, as a Korean certified, but I have additional certification as a PMP to my own, when to be to oversee a project or when to be to get a job. I tell you, I get a job and you don't get a job because that's what's demanding. PMP skill and knowledge helps you to avoid costly mistakes, as we have seen about, gives you competitive edge in projects and program in portfolio professional management. You know, now, what are the things we're going to get? What are the things, a few things that our eyes will be open to when we are wielded with this knowledge? We'll be able to create a required document needed for whatever project we want to embark upon as a project engineer. We'll be able to create project scope statements. You know, like we said, scope is very important. We said it the other time. Identifying ways to control the scope of the project. I said it, decompose the work. That's what we're talking about, and develop the work package. Create the work breakdown structure. Develop the critical parts. The critical part analysis that will make you to understand that is there risk. If there is risk, what do I do? Who is doing the job? When is it starting? Start to finish, finish to start. And what is leading? What is lagging? How do I go about all this thing? They'll be able to know how to develop the critical part, how to know the critical part, how to work it out. You'll be able to review type of cost estimates, identifying whether they are top down or bottom up. You'll be able to review budgets, the contingencies. What are the contingencies that you need to put into place when you are doing a project? When you're backing on a project? What are the contingency reserve? What are the things you need to put as a priority, as a topmost when you're doing it, in such that it will not fall back on you? You need to calculate, plan, and end value to compare with the actual cost. Perform a cost and schedule analysis. Why a project management professional certification is important for a professional career. PMP proves you work smarter. Like I said, you're smart. I salute you. I celebrate you as an engineer in the house. I will always give regard to you. Like I said, to be a Korean certified is not an easy job and it's not a baby work. But I can tell you, adding the core value to this thing makes it more beautiful, makes it more colorful, makes it more transformable, makes it more achievable, makes it to be able to achieve it on time, within time, and within budget. It makes you work smarter. You have the skill to drive the business results and increase your organizational impact in the office and around the world. So it is so important for you to have this particular certification. Now, why choose OLABOD Project Consult? Why do you think these people will be of help? Because, in Nigeria, to the glory of God, we have been a registered education provider by Project Management Institute in America in the year past, but they look at it that in Nigeria, they don't really know what is what. They don't know red from blue. That's why they decided to change our name from registered education provider to authorized training partner, which we have a global link that connects all the people all over the world. And I must tell you, and I can tell you rather, that the ATP in Nigeria is the same thing as ATP in America, is the same thing as ATP in Germany, is the same thing as ATP all over the world. But the difference there is that our people in Nigeria, they don't really value what we do. In America, if you want to do this course, you do it nothing less than $4,000. And how much are they doing it in Nigeria? Why? Because people don't know what they stand to gain when they have this thing. People don't know the hidden secret inside this thing that they stand to gain when they have this thing. Why? Because we have people that give them what is not. They think it's right, because in Nigeria, we have a lot of repackaging and they think we are getting the best, which is not. So we can, I believe we have read that, or do I still read it? Why you need to do it, so that at least we can brush through for me not to take our time. We still have 1 or 2 slides to go with. Can I go ahead, sir?
Yeah, you can, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, you can.
Okay, so I can just swipe up why you train. We can read that on our own. We focus on enhancing a participant capability. We don't just train you to pass the exam. We don't just train you to be a PMP. We train you to be a better you. We train you to be a better. We're trying to be a better environmental engineer. We're trying to be the proud engineering aspect to bring out what you already have. That's why you see the technical aspect of it. The technicality of you solving the problem of a seaway, or you solving the problem of the solid waste, solving the problem of the waste management, solving the problem of the oil spillage, the technicality of it, the leadership of it, and the strategic and the business aspect of it. All these things are going to be unleashed. All those things are going to be open to us. How those things are going to be, you can see, going there, you see the little explanation. Technical project management is the knowledge, I've said all, the skill, the behavioral, related to specific domain of project. Each project has different way of application. When you're trying to control flood, it's a different approach to when you're trying to make waste, when you're trying to turn waste to wealth, is a different approach. It's a different approach when you're trying to gather those things to use. So the technicality of you being able to know how to do those things are going to be unfolded. You're going to see the lights of different domains of project program and portfolio management. The leadership aspect of it. It's not everybody that is a leader. I may go to the school. Because I read, I may be a current certified, I may be a PMP person, but if I don't have the knowledge, if I don't have the skill, the bravery needed to guide this and motivate the people I'm working with, and that's the part of the area of what I said we're going to learn in human resource. The people you are dealing with, all those people, we have different people, we have different bosses, we have different subordinates, we have different stakeholders. How do we undo them? What are the leadership, the very attitude we're going to portray? How do we motivate them? How do we direct them? How do we help our organization to achieve these business goals, even our own personal goals? What are the strategies and the business management tools and techniques that we're going to use? Look at it in the first place where we put project management. I said, assuming we have environmental engineer there, and we have costs, we have schedule, we have cost and time costs. We have time there, we have cost there, and we have scope there. How do we put this thing together for us to achieve what we want to achieve? Those are the strategies of business analysis and business management that we're going to learn in the industry and organization, and to enhance performance and have a better and to better deliver business outcome. I want to say that firstly, thank you for the opportunity given to us to have the little insight. And I want to tell you that we will not want to toy with our hearts. Our hearts is like a project management, because when the blood in the heart is not flowing to my hands, when it's not flowing to my leg, when it's not flowing to my head, when the other, definitely there's going to be maladministration, there's going to be abandoning of projects, there's going to be a lot of flooding, there's going to be a lot of waste that are supposed to turn to wealth that we don't even know how to undo it. There's going to be, even people that we know that, in our offices that we're supposed to train this set of people to. There was a time we trained some Lagos State directors in health sectors. It was their director that came for the training. Immediately after the training, he had to make sure that all the people that are controlling the machine aspect in the hospital in Lagos State, that they must have the training, because the end of the work is drawing back if they don't have these particular skills and knowledge. So with the little I've said, I want to believe or say that we can accomplish more than we think we have ahead of us. Thank you once again. Due regards to the National Chairman, Engineer Odukoya, the Secretary, the moderator, and all the able engineers in the house. I must say it's a privilege, and I must say I salute us and I celebrate us. Thank you very much, ADERANTI Bola, for Project Management Institute Authorized Training Partner, OLABOD Project Council. Thank you, sirs. Thank you, ma'am.
Wow. Thank you very, very much, Ma. If I'm to say we've not learned anything, that'd be a very big, that'd be an injustice to your slides. It showed us that PMP is not only limited to environmental engineering. It cuts across every sphere of it's very vast. Tech, IT, manufacturing, civil service, wherever you're going to look at it, you must work the PMP, because everything you do is a project. Now the project, how you get it done, who gets it done, you require someone that has the skills, that has the onus, that has the tools, that has the knowledge to get the work done. Wow, it was a packed one. And I'm pretty sure my colleagues have also all learned one or two things, if not more than that. Without wasting our time, I'll quickly move on to ask. Do we have anybody to ask questions in the house? Questions for our lecturer, quickly, please. If you have questions, you can either put in the chat box or signify by raising your hands. Questions, please. I can't see anyone signify for questions. If that's the case, I'd assume we all understood the topic without much difficulty. Also, I'd like to encourage us all to just start preparing ourselves to get ourselves PMP certified, because it's going to help our careers beyond where we are presently. Okay, that being said, I'd like to call on the Vice Chairman of NIEE chapter, President Majolagbe, to please help us present a certificate of appreciation to our lecturer, the person of Ms. ADERANTI BOLANLE. Please, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, the Publicity Secretary of Nigerian Institution of Environmental Engineers, Lagos State Chapter. While I try to open up the certificate of appreciation, I would just like to drop one or two comments. But before then, okay, I know we have very important personalities within our midst. We have the presence of one of the permanent secretaries of former permanent secretaries of Lagos State Government, Ministry of Environment, in person of Engineer Akim Ogunbambi. Is very much around with us. He has been with us and has also been the first chairman of the Nigerian Institution of Environmental Engineers, Lagos State Chapter. You are most welcome, sir. And we have the presence of Engineer Funlayo Kadri, one of the foremost female engineers we have in Nigeria. She's an electrical engineer, and she also belongs to the NIEE, and a very, very strong member of the APOIN. You are most welcome. We definitely have a lot of distinguished personalities present here today. We can mention all, but all the same, we thank Madam ADERANTI BOLANLE, because when it comes to project management, there was actually a scenario that happened to one of my friends. He happens to be a project manager for an IT firm. and he got a job that he needed to refer to a friend, and he just referred it to one of his subordinates at work, who happens to be a PMP certified professional. And I mean, when the guy, he went for the interview, eventually got the job, obviously, because, he met the skill set. He was PMP certified, and they were looking for someone that had the experience in the IT sector. I can tell you that he actually got the job with a pay slip showing that he will be earning about 1.8 million naira in a month. Honestly, my friend almost fainted, because he was like, he was not even earning up to 1/3 of that amount. So I mean, you can imagine where project management PMP could take you up to. As I speak, I've also been properly trained by OLABOD projects, and I got certified in September, and I got 2 referrals for kind of a country manager job or a channel partner from some international firms. But of course, I have my job already, so I had to be very careful in signing agreements with those firms. So I mean, if we have environmental engineers that are interested, I could refer them, and you could be their their channel dealer or their channel partner. And this was because right on LinkedIn, they saw my profile as a PMP certified engineer. And of course, this is internationally recognized. And of course, I mean, you could also get a whole lot of opportunity once you are PMP certified as an environmental engineer in that space. So in Nigeria, we do have a lot of problems that, I mean, we should have been able to solve them. But because we have all the technical know-how, but to now project manage it through to get the results is where the problem is. So, I mean, the problem of flooding in Lagos, yes, we have all the technicalities that it takes, but, we also need to apply project management to solve this problem. Wastewater management, solid waste management, and a host of others can definitely be properly solved if we begin to apply project management to what we do. Right the moment, I just want to, sorry, I think I'm having challenge with my network. Okay, sorry, I just had issues with my network. Am I still on?
You are, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm back now. Okay, thank you. So just quickly to share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Sorry. 1 minute. Sorry about that. Okay, on behalf of the Nigerian Institution of Environmental Engineers, I want to present these certificates. Sorry, on behalf of the Nigerian Institute of Environmental Engineers, speaking from the office of the chairman, Engineer Abiola Oshigbe, who doubles as the permanent secretary, Ministry of Fiscal Planning and Urban Development. I will like to, on behalf of her and the members of the institution, present these certificates to Mrs. Aderanti BOLANLE, for facilitating at the April 2022 technical session on the topic Executive Project Management for Environmental Engineers held on the 13th of April, 2022. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time, and we have realized that this presentation has been very insightful. As a state chapter, we are open to, further this by collaborating with OLABOD Project Consult, which is your firm, to ensure that environmental engineers, can move much higher in their career by virtue of being properly trained by OLABOD Project Consult. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And like I wrote on the chat, none of us will get to where we are alone. We cannot be here without you inviting us. That's why we need you and you need us, and we all need to get acquainted in our home various areas of job, life, and whatever we lay our hands upon. Like I said, life is a project. I can't wait to see all the dignitaries that we have in the house getting all they want in the tips of their finger. Above all, when we even don't want to work under anybody again, sit in your house and get your kudos all over the world. As a consultant, recognized engineers, as a prof, let's see how it goes. God's willing. Masalam. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that's been the addition of our certificate to our lecturer. Next, would like to let you know that for next month, the 18th of May, 2022, you can all see the certificate option now. It has been displayed. So next month, 18th of May, 2022, we'll be having our next technical session titled Conversion of Plastic Waste to Eco Bricks. Again, conversion of plastic waste to eco bricks, to be anchored or facilitated by Mr. BOLANLE Yusuf. He is the chairman of WAMASEN, Lagos Council. WAMASEN is the Waste Management Association of Nigeria. For now, the venue, it's going to be physical. So we are still looking for what the venue will be, but in due course, open for the end of the month or early next month, will let us all know what the venue will be. So let's mark in our calendars, our registers, our diaries. On the 18th of May next month, we'll be having the next general meeting and technical session. To close the day, I'd call on Engineer Omoife Kudaimbu to give us the vote of, who is the General Secretary of NIEELAGOS State Chapter, to give us the vote of thanks and closing prayer as well.
Thank you so much, Engineer Moment. Mrs. Majority Bolanle, thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. I am truly, truly inspired. Thank you for giving your vital time. I thank you wholeheartedly. God bless you. And to all our elders in the house, thank you for always supporting us. Thank you for always showing up. We always feel encouraged whenever we look behind us and we know you're there to always cheer us on. And for our members that also took out their time, our distinguished members, thank you for being present today. And we hope to see you again next month. God bless you. Have a good evening, everyone.
Okay, thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. God bless. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Engineer Kadri. Thank you so much, man. Thanks to everyone.
See you all next month. Have a good evening ahead.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah.